Hey guys, thanks for tapping in on this video. I want to remind you that we are crowdfunded and dream-driven around here. If you would like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/pigeons420. With your support, we can interview some of the biggest minds in our space right here. Thank you so much to our members. Thank you so much to our patrons for supporting the show, and thank you for watching today's conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got JJ Kitchen from Uptown Grow Labs in the house. Brother, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fantastic. In fact, I'm even going to turn you up just a little bit on the main. Yep. There we go. JJ, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. You know, new year, new hope, new whatever, you know.
I feel you on that. Brand new year means brand new things, brand new adventures, bro.
Exactly.
First of all, before we go too far, I want to thank you for being on the show, Mr. JJ Kitchen from Uptown Grow Labs. I've been a huge fan of yours for a very, very, very long time. And
Thanks, bro.
Man, I can't wait to dive into a great conversation with you. But real quick, for the maybe one or two people that don't know who you are, who are you? What are you doing? And just real quick.
I'm the weed geezer. So, I obviously smoke weed. I grow it. I got busted for possession in 1973, probably before most of your audience was born, I'm suspecting. And immediately, about a year after I got pinched, I started growing. So I've been growing cannabis since 1974. I'm a Crohn's patient. I had Crohn's since before I was busted. So I really came to cannabis because of that, primarily. Not primarily, but that was one of the reasons, because it helped relieve the symptoms. And also it was the cool thing to do if you wanted to be a bit of a rebel when I was coming up.
That's fair.
But, you know, I really took to the plant, and, you know, she was my soulmate. So I've been growing on and off. I took a long break when my kids came along, and because my other half really wasn't feeling the fact that I would be having cannabis plants in the same house where my family lived. So
I get it.
I took a break, and then, well, then I got a separate. I used to live in New York City. I lived in New York City for 40 years. Before I moved out here. I moved out here at the end of 2015. And because weed was legal, that was one of the major reasons. Although New York followed suit not long afterwards. But Uncle Tweezy and I, my grow partner back in New York, we documented our first grow and our first book. And then during the pandemic, I put together a second one. And yeah, I've just been growing and smoking for a long fucking time.
A long fucking time. And arrested, bro. Arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Man, and
and this is bear in mind, this is in the I grew up in Michigan, right?
Right.
So I grew up in a place called Grand Rapids, Michigan, and pretty conservative place. And fortunately, I mean, this may sound horrible. My father was connected to a certain extent because he was a professional in the community. So that definitely helped. And ironically enough, I'm actually allergic to raw cannabis.
No way.
I break out in a rash if I'm in the garden and I'm rubbing my hands or plant matters on my arms. I'll break out. If I get something in my mouth, my tongue will start to swell. Are you talking to your producer or me?
Slightly. I was giving her hand signals, giving her the old one, give her the old 1-2. That has to be incredibly frustrating. I was listening to you. That has to be incredibly frustrating, or I'm sure at this point you've kind of learned to cope with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, I mean, I won't lie. I mean, when I lived in New York City, I was there from the late 70s to the mid-teens, and the 80s and 90s in Manhattan were pretty fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. So I abused myself in a lot of ways. And I mean, when I moved out here, 6 months after I moved out here, they took out a foot and a half of my colon.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm here to tell the tale. I lived through 9/11, you know, all that shit. So.
Then yeah, where do I start, man? Where do I start? Okay, so Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. So not only that, you're a father.
Yep,
You've got grown children, and
I do.
yeah, family
Shocking.
man.
Even shocks me.
That's fair. I
I
know
mean,
that.
I think about it, because when you get older, I'm about 30 years older than you, I think, based on our prior discussion.
Yes.
And, it's weird because in your mind, you still think, oh, yeah, that's back in 19, whatever, 80 or 70 or whatever the fuck. And you're like, oh, no, my daughter's like fucking 33 years old. What the fuck? Where did all the time go?
Dude, my boy's 13, and I still do the
Mm.
exact same thing. I look at him. Do you look
Yep.
at your kids at 30 and still see like their baby lips?
Well, let me tell you something. So I was the fifth of five, but I was a menopause baby. They were not expecting me. They thought my mother was done.
Oh,
So when I was born, she was like 46. My old man was 55, 54, some shit like that. So I was always the baby. So, even when I was, in my fucking 30s and 40s, fucking around, was, oh, where's little Joey? You know what I mean? It's like,
getting into
it is what
trouble
it
then.
is.
So getting arrested, man. Getting arrested. Growing up with weed in a whole other time, man. 70s with weed was like now with fentanyl, man. And I mean that with full
Well,
seriousness. Granted, the
in a lot of
lethality
ways, but,
of weed.
but, you know, okay, so I got busted in 73 because my buddy was an idiot, basically.
I can
He
appreciate
took a
that.
friend of ours back to college, dropped him off, drove back. He blew a couple of joints in the car. I wasn't smoking while I was driving. I aired the car out, but my buddy brought a fucking freezer bag. We had a full ounce of weed with him. He had about 20 packages of matches from the place where he worked, where he was a busboy. He had one of those grass mask things,
Yep. Yep.
and he's wearing a T-shirt that says "Prevent forest fires, eat your roaches." So it's 2 in the morning. I'm on this sort of semi back road in Michigan, and I blow through a yellow light, and it was around the corner from the sheriff's department. So there were two cops there just going on shift. They pull
Yep.
us over. My buddy, as they're pulling us over, he rolls down the window, throws the fucking freezer bag out the window. Now, mind you, the only lights were the police headlights on our fucking car. So there's no way they didn't see him throw that shit out the window.
Just asking for it.
So they dragged us to county and locked us up, and you got to make that phone call. And politically, it was different. I mean, weed was different. It was more of a revolutionary substance. Fentanyl's just to get fucked up,
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. It's a very different kind of world that we live
And
in when it comes to
and
marijuana.
and that's just it. That's what I was kind of implying, that it's like
Yeah,
it in the 70s. I think of like a wild west in regards to law enforcement's
yeah,
actions towards drugs in general, right? And
yeah.
there was people thrown in jail for the possession of a joint.
Oh, it's
So
a seed.
a
I
seed,
mean,
right.
ridiculous. I mean, the thing that always bothered me about the prohibition, you can't, people talk about it being immoral, this, that, and the other. What the fuck? You can't ascribe a morality to a plant.
Right.
It's not like this. I mean, some people would argue that they're sentient. I don't really think that they're sentient. They do have reactions and shit, but you know what I mean. They're not like on a higher brain level like we are. But
No, I
anyways,
agree.
um, it's a fucking. It's a in our book, um, there we documented the pharmaceutical companies that all use cannabis. Eli Lilly. I actually, you know what? I mean, Eli Lilly, Wyatt, Upjohn, they all used cannabis in their medicine. I mean, this is what you would find at a pharmacy.
Right. Right. That I
These
love
are
that. I
all
love that
cannabis
photo.
tinctures.
Now, hold on one second. I
Um,
love what I am unfamiliar with the names you just said. Who were those people?
okay, so Upjohn Pharmaceuticals, Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Companies. These are huge pharmaceutical companies. A lot of them have been merged into other companies and taken over. But they were like the big drug manufacturers. Upjohn. So like you got like this. You got you can see Upjohn Cannabis.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, okay,
So,
okay. That is a hold on. That is a beautiful book. What book is that?
oh, that's my book, bro. That's our Cannabis Annual 2022.
Oh, bro, that is absolutely gorgeous. I love what you did with that. Yes. Okay. Okay. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I'm sorry my ignorance to that. You did a really good
That's
job
all good.
with that presentation. Those photos on there are A1 and
Well, those actually, I have to give props to the Cannabis Museum in Ohio. The guy Don Wertschaffer, he's actually a lawyer, and he scoured the planet, or at least this country, for cannabis medicine bottles. He would reach out to old pharmacies, go to antique stores, and he runs a little museum in the middle of fucking bumfuck Ohio.
wow. Wow, good for
And
you.
just documenting how much, that people, it's sort of like the forgotten history of cannabis, you know?
I feel you though. Yep. And which is so important because I feel like we have already been through a world of evolution with cannabis where it's like it was
Yeah.
already used as a medicine. It was already used on a mass level too, where you found it in shops all over the country and all over Europe and Asia. But then all of a sudden it wiped out of existence and then had to come back again. So yeah, I love that. Can you explain what your book is about from kind of like the idea, the
Uh,
concept?
so, so the first book, which I don't have a copy of here, is it's called The Kitchen. That's where my Gnome Day weed, J Kitchen, right? That's where it comes from. Um, so the first book, my growing partner, Uncle Tweezy and I, we had a place up in Harlem where we had a grow out, essentially. Not essentially, that's what the fuck it was. And we documented our grow over about 2 years. I took all the photographs, and we were doing hydro, deep water culture. We just kind of lost our minds and just went crazy experimenting. So I took pictures of 20 different strains from about 7 to 9 different breeders from Europe and North America. And then we were trying to work on a second one. Then the pandemic happened. And that was actually the last time I was in Vegas for the MJ BizCon where I saw you last month.
Yep. Yep. And that was great. I was glad that we could run into
Yeah,
each
it was
other.
awesome.
That was
It was
fantastic.
awesome.
And you ran into all kinds of people I saw.
Man, it's really funny. The first day I went there, I went to get my badge, and fucking Kyle Cushman and Matt
Yeah, I
Hammer
saw
were
that
there, and
photo.
it was a lot of fun. But so the second book, the pandemic happened. Everybody's freaking out, and you were part of the YouTube purge because you came on my show in 2018 when YouTube pulled down dozens and dozens and dozens of channels. Some of them were restored. Ours was restored, but only to be pulled down, 6 months. No, not longer than that. Got pulled down like 2 years later when we were like 60K subscribers, right? But other people came back, like you came back, but what's his name? Crazy Dango, the grow table, whatever the fuck, they never came back. He never got his channel back.
No. No.
And that's why and that's why I don't really, during the pandemic, we were live streaming every single night, 7 days a week
Right.
for about 2 years straight. And you showed up on a couple of the broadcasts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I did. Yep. Yep.
And we had a lot of people following us, and we were like, all right, you know what? We did the first book about the garden. Let's do the second one for the people, essentially. So we kind of broke it down. We've got pre-prohibition. So I've got the medical stuff that you saw, prohibition, and I have a friend of mine who runs a poster shop in New York, a movie poster shop, and he had all these anti-cannabis movie film posters and lobby cards that he let me use images of, so I can actually. And then, we talked to some growers, and let them do submissions. We paid people to do articles. There's actually a woman she lives on Vancouver Island. So here we go. Marijuana,
Oh, yes, yes. I've seen this one. Famous.
Taco,
Love
del
that.
Diablo. You know, so we had like our friends over at Sweet Seeds, in Spain, they do automatics, so they gave us a whole lot of content to publish. So there's a lot of, I mean, it's a 400-page fucking book.
It is a beautiful book. I love it stacked, dude. You've got
These are all canons of people we've met along the way. You can see Lorenzo is up there from Turp's Army. People who've been on the show with me. There's like, I don't know, fucking 20 pages of that sort of shit. So we figured, for the fans. And it's, we did it ourselves. It cost too much money. That's why I drive Uber now, to pay off my fucking debt.
I feel you. Well, where are you sell? You're selling it on the website?
You can go directly to. You can go to Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Type in Cannabis Annual 2022. If anybody's interested, they'll tell you it's out of stock. Order it. Okay, because it's a print on demand.
Oh, okay.
So you order it, they'll get it from the printing company. And I got to be honest, I can't remember the name of the printing company where you could order it directly. Or you can reach out to me. I still have a couple copies in my possession.
Okay, hell yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna order one. I'm gonna order one.
Cool. And we also have a paperback version, which is about half the size. We abridged it somewhat. So.
No, that's great, man. I love the idea of putting down on paper what we spent years kind of gathering in regards to our journey, the story, the plant, everything about it, and our touch.
Exactly. Well, it's like a compendium, if you are into pot, I'm sure you've got more than one book about cannabis. Am I correct?
Me? I can't read, Jay.
Yeah. You can't read?
I'm pretty fucking stupid. Yeah. No.
Are you dyslexic?
No, I can read. Yeah, I can read, but yeah, no, a book, Jay. I love how much you afford me here in regards to. No, I don't have a single book.
Okay. So a lot of people who've been.
You don't. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You don't mean like books that I own.
No, well, just like
dude. Oh, I thought you meant.
Rosenthal's grow book, how to grow weed.
Yeah, I got that. I thought you meant like books that I wrote.
No.
Oh.
Are you stoned, man? What the fuck?
I'm gonna smoke right now. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke. I was like, you got books? I'm like, dude, my friend wrote a book. I love him. He's like pretty much. Because he wrote it, I pretty much wrote it.
He wrote a couple.
I got it. I got his books right here. I need your books too. No, I will get it. Yeah, no, I do have books. Sorry, I've got a.
Yeah,
I do text.
So that's what I'm saying. So we know. So everybody who's in the weed, who takes it more than just like a recreational fucking pre-roll at the shop to smoke on Friday fucking night with the boys, they collect fucking cannabis ephemera. And
I feel you.
This book, we put a lot of stuff. We've got an article from Dank Duchess. We've got all kinds of cool. We got all these very cool high-end dispensaries that popped up right after the beginnings of decrim legalization and that sort of thing. So there's some very cool interiors. I got it. I'm gonna brag a little bit, but I mean Rosenthal, he fucking loves my books. He wishes he did a book like mine, but he's too cheap. So it's
shout out to Ed, man. I've met Ed too, and
no, Ed's great. I mean, Ed is great. He's fucking smart as fuck.
Yes, he is.
Sometimes you don't get it because he's old and he's a little bit stoned. You know what
That's
I mean?
That's it. Yep. No, I can appreciate that. No, I can appreciate that.
But he's very, he grew up in the South. He grew up in the Bronx, and I don't know. I love Ed.
Good. Yeah, I only had a moment. I kind of fanboyed over him a little bit. It was at MJ BizCon.
Oh, it's very common.
Yeah.
Very common, bro.
Dude. I know he is. He handled it like a champion.
The best way to talk to him is to show him some bud that you grew and say, I got a joint of it. You want to go get high?
He's all over that. Yeah, he was all over smoking weed. He was all over that. He's like, dude.
I love smoking with Ed. I met him. So I went to the MJ BizCon in the first year it was in Vegas. It was in the Rio Hotel. And I got
it was in the Rio?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It was small, bro. It was small. It was really fucking small.
No kidding.
Oh, if there were 50 exhibitors,
wow. Okay, so what year is this?
It had to be like 2013, maybe.
2013.
I think, because
Okay, okay.
I think the second one was held here in Seattle right after it went legal in 2012 in Washington State.
Okay.
So around then,
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really sick. My Crohn's was fucking killing me, and they put me in a room at the way at the end of the hall. Anyways, I'm walking home after the day, and who's in front of me but Ed and Jane, his wife, Jane Klein, who's a really
Yeah.
cool person.
Met her too. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so he like, well, come on in, let's get high. So, we're smoking weed, just hanging out. He's a normal human being. If you got the weed, really breaks down a lot of barriers between people.
You're right.
I mean, he's just in his own way, he's a superstar. And he's a fucking convicted felon behind weed. I mean, give the guy his props. A lot of people diss him, for whatever bullshit reasons, but there are very few people have struggled as much for cannabis for whatever motivation. But he was very, very politically active. So I got to give him respect.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. In my opinion, people of today aren't very appreciative of the people that really laid down everything so that guys like me could have parade online pretending to know how to grow.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
You're right. Yep, it is.
My friend Mara, and people who are watching who know me know Mara, because she's been on a couple of times. She always refers to people like, us as OGs, right? And I do get that kind of respect from some people, but you're right. And also the other thing, particularly you're in Canada, weed is legal everywhere in Canada. It's not legal everywhere in the United States.
Right.
Bless you. And people are still fucking incarcerated behind the plant. I mean, come on, man.
No, you're right. You're right.
Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's other circumstances behind it, you're shooting somebody up and you had a pound of weed in your bag, I get why they threw away the key, Oh, but if it's just fucking weed, even if it's selling fucking 50 pounds, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Dude, weed is legal throughout Canada, but it's not entirely legal. There's some countries.
Well, it's regulated.
There's some provinces that can grow their own, other provinces you can't. So it's like, yes.
But you have legal access to it in every province.
Yeah. Yep.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yep. Yeah.
Here, it's not.
No, you're right. Well, I guess in fairness, with THCA or with the Farm Bill, it is kind of legal now across the country.
Well, yeah, but maybe it's because I am older. I don't really consider THCA. I'm just not feeling it, bro. I've smoked it. But and particularly because I'm sick and I like to know what the fuck I'm smoking.
That's fair.
That's why I grow weed.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I started growing in the first place.
Of course.
And anything you can buy at a gas station, I'm skeptical of.
That's fair.
Except the coffee.
Yeah, dude. The only thing I can guarantee when I fly to America is the coffee at the gas station. That shit's so good. I know I'm gonna get a good cup of Joe if I'm going into a gas station. Guaranteed.
You're dissing Tim Hortons, man.
Yeah. Well, Tim Hortons ain't what she used to be, my friend. Ain't what she used to be. I'll tell you that right now.
Last time I was in Canada, I was in Van, and I went for the Lift show like 2 years ago. In 2023, we went in January.
Oh, you did the Lift show.
Yeah, well, I went,
and
I also I hooked up with a college buddy of mine, but dude, I had fucking my prostate was just like fucking huge. I couldn't pee. I was in the hospital downtown Van, getting a fucking Foley catheter at 3 a.m. on Friday the 13th.
Oh, no way.
Horrible.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh yeah, we were actually going to go up before Chinese New Year's, but that was vetoed by the other half. So we're going to go up to Van in February. So.
Okay.
I have a sister who lives in Toronto.
Toronto.
I spent a lot of time in Toronto with the kid.
Fuck. Well, like if you're ever coming to anything up here, you let me know. Like if an event or anything, because I haven't been to a single event up here ever. I've done not a ton. Yeah, I've done. So I feel like at this point I've done a half a dozen events in the States, but nothing here. Nobody knows who I am in Canada.
Does Sarah Sunday still run the Karma Cup? Sarah Sunday? Does she still have the Karma Cup in Toronto?
Oh, God. You know what? Dude, I wish I knew, man. I honestly have no idea. I honestly have. It's somewhat embarrassing how little touch I have with my local audience, or not local audience. I don't have a fucking Canadian audience. 90% of my audience is from America. So that's who I kind of talk to, and when
I get it, bro.
I
Get
talk
it. Well,
I talk a lot
I've
about.
been to. I used to go to the what the fuck they were called? They were in I can't remember his last name. He produced the Healing Yourself expos. The Healing Yourself, something like that, in Toronto
Okay.
in
Yep.
like 2009, 2010, 11, and that's where you would go there, and all these fucking seed vendors were there, like from Europe and some cats from the States, and that's actually how I got my name. I was I had a video. This was before like smart fucking phones, right? I think this was in 2010 or 2011. So I have a video on a camera, some shit, an SD card, and I'm at the DNA Seeds booth, small, like no bigger, 100 square foot maybe. And I'm showing them videos of my grow, which at the time was in a studio apartment in Chelsea in Manhattan, and most of it was a deep water culture system in the kitchen.
Okay.
So they saw the pots and they saw the stove, and I got J Kitchen. So here we are.
That's too funny. Can you
15
explain to me
years
how
later.
you had it growing in the kitchen? I'm sure the sink was involved.
Uh, for drainage, yeah, the sink was involved for sure. But it was what it was. It was kind of a sugar shack, just a crib. It was a studio apartment in an old building in Manhattan, in Chelsea. I didn't pay much for it, and I could grow weed there, away from the family dwelling, and get up to other shenanigans as well. But that's a whole other story. So, and so the DWC was in the kitchen because we had better ventilation there, blah, 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 blah. I can't even remember why, but,
That's wicked.
it was fun.
So that's how J Kitchen began.
Yeah.
That's wicked, man. I can totally get down with that. It's unique too. It's unique, which is what I can appreciate.
Yeah, it's a problem with that first book that we did when we called it The Kitchen, because there's so many books with kitchen in the title, it just got fucking lost.
Of course,
It
of
got
course. Well,
disappeared.
hey, you learned something though. You went in.
Yeah,
You went
for
in
sure.
green and came out seasoned. Where did Uptown Grow Labs come from?
So I don't know if you're familiar with New York City at all, but
Nope.
there's uptown and downtown and various
Okay, I know
neighborhoods
that.
in between.
Yep.
So I actually lived in Tribeca, way downtown, very shishi, la di da. But I had two apartments in Spanish Harlem, up on 120th Street and Third Avenue, in a brand new, like semi-luxury building. It was like one of the first in the neighborhood. The real estate developers in Manhattan, they've got to move north because everything in the middle or south is really damn expensive.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of old buildings. There's a lot of single family homes up north of 95th Street. It's much more, people fucking live there. It's a real living kind of community. Anyways, this building was like in the middle of the block that was kind of burned out. So I got these apartments. They weren't cheap, but they suited our purpose. They were really high up. They had really good ventilation, so nobody could smell the weed. Because we had
Perfect.
4 rooms. We had like 400 square feet of flower running, maybe more.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's Uptown, and I don't remember how we came up with Grow Lab. We were probably stoned, hanging out, watching some kung fu movie, or some shit.
That's where all great video or all great ideas come from, right?
Right?
Yep. Getting high, just shooting the shit, just trying to figure it out. What?
Yeah.
So I got to admit, when I started doing YouTube, you were around doing YouTube as well, and it's like I used your videos and your grows as inspiration for my stuff, and this was
I
back.
appreciate that.
I love to be able to admit it, and this is back before there was any kind of collaboration in our space. You did kind of see a little, if you knew
Yeah.
people, or then there was a slight bit amount, but like I'm talking just YouTube content, weed creators. There was no real collaboration, so it's like
No.
it felt as if like we were isolated, and so
Yep.
I would look over at your house, over the fence, and look at your yard, and be like, "Wow, wow, I love what he's got growing on over there." One thing in particular was your setups. You didn't just turn the camera on and go live. Now you did, but you weren't doing it from the living room. You weren't doing it from your bedroom next to your dresser. You actually had a decent setup. And I respected the shit out of that, man, because you didn't see that very much. And right now, even your setup is
people on their
beautiful.
fucking beds, you know, people on the bed smoking a fucking joint, bullshitting. You know, that's what a lot of that was. I mean, keep it real. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Or in your case, on the couch, but you know.
Yeah.
I remember you being on the couch a lot.
It was a lazy.
From the neck down.
It was a chair. It was a lazy boy. Oh. Yeah, reclining chair. Yeah. From here down. Yeah.
Right. I love that shit, man. It's so fun. It was so funny. I really love it.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, well, you know, because you want people to watch you. I have several disadvantages. I'm not a young, good-looking woman. Number one. I'm not even a young, good-looking man anymore.
Good-looking and man for sure. You're not that
my
old.
demos.
You're not.
Well, I'm everybody's fucking. I'm the weed uncle, right?
That's fair. Yep, that's fair. And that's a good thing to like. That's a good name to have.
It could be worse.
Well, that's a good point. Yep, that's a good point. Yep.
You know, it's like. So I just do it because I don't really make any money. I mean, we sell seeds. People are interested at UptownGrowLabSeeds.com. But, you know, it's like, I kind of love it. It keeps me busy, especially the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, I mean, that was wild times.
Right.
You know, it seemed like people forget how bananas it was.
It was unreal.
But thankfully, I didn't, you know, if I lived in New York City, then I don't know if I would have survived mentally.
In which way? Just because of like the nonsense of like just putting up with the content.
No,
and
it's just,
and
well, I'm immunocompromised because I've got Crohn's disease, so I'm immunocompromised. And I was wearing masks.
Oh, literally. I see what you're saying.
Bullshit.
Literally.
And and also, you know, the healthcare out here is good. But I'm getting off the cannabis train, so let's.
No, that's okay.
Back.
No, this is tea.
Get into that shit.
Nah, this is tea with P. I just like to go wherever the conversation goes. I actually very seldom.
I hear you.
I very seldom actually talk about weed, to be honest with you.
Well, the one rule we have on our live streams is that you can talk about just about anything but politics. I don't give a fuck about anything else.
That's funny. And on this show, all I do is talk politics.
Well, you know, I find it be really fucking divisive.
It can be.
Particularly in 2000, 2001.
That's fair.
Hold
on a second.
Really rough years down here.
2000, that's Bush and Obama? Oh, no, we're before that.
2000 was the end of Donald and the beginning of Joe.
And, no. In 2000, 2001, you're thinking 16.
2020. 2020.
Okay. Oh, okay. I
2020.
See. Okay. There we go.
My bad.
No, that's okay. Because I'm
one of these.
I'm pretty good with politics, so I was trying to pinpoint it.
I had one of these shots.
Good. Good.
It's 100 milligrams of THC. This is a 4-ouncer, which is bigger than you. They have them as big as 12, but I'm actually trying to lose a little weight, so I don't want to drink too much sweet shit. So, but I had about half of it, so I had about 50 milligrams. I'm pretty fucking high, and I'm smoking a joint.
Good.
So.
No, you should be. No, and you. One thing you just said is that you don't like to talk about politics, and then I just continued to ask you about politics. So, yeah. We don't need to get into that, anyways, because.
Well, no, because you know. During 2020 and 2021, people are they were scared. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. There's all this bullshit everywhere. And I didn't want to bring that. People came to us to fucking get high, listen to tunes, and fucking chill.
You're right.
And I was fired by a number of viewers. I got angry emails from them because of perceptions. And it's nothing that I really did overtly, but I guess they didn't like what I was reposting on Twitter or some bullshit. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need this noise.
That's fair,
And
brother.
that's why I'm on Discord. That's why I don't have a Discord anymore. We used to have a Discord, but things got fucking weird.
Uh,
And I didn't have time to fucking deal with it or energy. I'm too fucking old. When you get to a
that's fair.
certain age, you just say, fuck it. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
need
already
this
there,
shit.
dude. I'm already there. Yeah, I'm already there. The thing is like
You're a cynical youngster, aren't you?
yes. But I like to. My glass is always half full. I want you to know that. That's another thing. Is like I look at the world
Well,
very,
I
very
think we have that in
positively.
common.
I believe in human beings because people will surprise you. But the thing is one thing you said is that politics is divisive, and you're not wrong. It is, and so that's kind of why it's like I like to talk about. I like to talk about these things because
those kind of conversations, to be honest. Let me finish your thought.
All I was gonna say is politics surrounds us in every
Yeah,
shape
yeah.
and form. You cannot avoid
Yep.
it. Regulates everything, and so one thing that I've always believed is that if I want to be able to talk to the people that I love and who I adore, and
Well, that's why you have such a loyal following, bro, because you have a viewpoint and you express yourself. And I just didn't feel real comfortable with that for a lot of reasons.
that's fair. That's okay.
I've had a lot of drama in my life, and I don't need any more.
That's fair. No, it's fair.
Certainly not any more self-inflicted, that's for sure.
I do get a lot of shit. Like I do get a lot of shit.
Yeah,
you get
but
called
can
out
handle
one
it.
way
I
or the
mean,
other.
you
It's
fucking
not
play
even
hockey, right?
Of course, yeah, a little bit. But I'm a pussy. The thing though is that it's like, I just don't submit myself to it. It's like I'll listen to the people that want to have a constructive conversation, but the moment
Right.
the moment
Well, that's
I
good.
the moment I see someone in the chat calling me a insert this expletive
Whatever.
that I don't entertain it. I don't have time for it because it's
Well, yeah.
forget about it.
All right, if you
I
don't
get,
engage,
yeah, I got a
if you
kid
don't
that
engage
loves
with
me.
those types of people, fine. It's
Yeah.
just
But I do love to talk for it. But anyways, let's move on. Because it is what it is. Because I can talk about it forever, as we've clearly just figured out.
So tell me, what's in your garden?
Man, right now I've got an absolute beautiful garden because I'm sure this is something
What are you running?
you can relate with. I've actually this is the first garden I've run successfully in 2 years because I lost hope. I lost not hope, but passion. I didn't have time. Weed's cheap in Canada because it's pretty much legal and it's everywhere and you can get pretty good stuff. So it's like I just lost passion in it. And over the course of the last year, I was like, I wanted it back. So this is the garden where I literally spent hours retrofitting the space, trying to make it perfect so I didn't have to have any
It's fucking
variables.
beautiful. What you showed me this afternoon is gorgeous, and it's multi-talent. I mean, you got 4 different sets in there. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, thank you. It's always a work in progress, but yeah, this is what I've been working on.
No, I try to do the same with my shit, but at this point, I'm just Mr. Minimal.
Oh man,
Although I can't lie, I do have 2 sets. I've got here, and I've got because I have a different channel now as well.
you have a couple.
Of being persecuted. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say you have a couple channels. You have a couple channels. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I have the what is it? Uptown Grow Labs J Kitchen is the main weed channel. And there's a backup to that, which I honestly don't even know the fucking name of. And then I've got so last year I got really sick from that prostate thing in fucking van. I had surgery later in the year, blah, 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 blah. Kind of pivoted and I started doing men's grooming because I grew up my beard. So I started doing fragrance reviews, beard product reviews, men's grooming shit.
Good for you.
Which has sort of morphed into more of a perfume and scent review thing. But I also do like obituaries of pop stars who died. That sort of, people who aren't generally known.
What? Dude, I had no idea you were doing this.
That's Jay Kitchen's Beard is that channel.
Oh, I think that's a genius idea. First of all, your beard is epic. I love the cut. I love the line, the color in it, the flow. The white is just majestic. So I think it's a great idea that you're doing a beard or men's grooming channel. So good for you.
Well,
I had no idea that you were branching out. I think that's brilliant.
Well, I've been doing it for literally about a year, and a terpene is a terpene. And if you look at the ingredients for a lot of these perfumes and colognes, it's linalool, alpha, beta, caryopylene, whatever the fuck. They use the same terps that are in weed. They're not exclusive to cannabis.
Right.
So
Right.
doing
Terpenes are
smelling
everywhere.
tests of that shit, so it's a transferable kind of skill, and I'm really close to being monetized. I'm about 850 subscribers in a year. So I'm really pushing it hard. I mean, I drop a video a day over there.
Oh man, I'm so happy to hear that, man. Mrs. P, could you drop the link into it? J Kitchen Beards, is that what you said?
Yeah, Jay Kitchen's beard.
Yeah.
J Kitchen's Beard. Yeah, I always tell some people who have got that creative like juice and who are in our space and they're trying to do
Right.
their thing, and unfortunately YouTube and platforms in general just keep stifling us. You should branch out. You should try something
Hey
different.
everybody, it's JJ
You
Kitchen
got
from Jay's
to.
Beard.
Especially if you want to. If you don't give a fuck about the money, it doesn't fucking matter. But I would like to get paid for what I do. I mean, I love what I do. I love making videos. I love editing videos. I love smelling new fucking perfumes, man. I mean, it's like smoking a new joint, without getting fucked up.
Right, right.
And I would like to make some fucking coin. I don't want to be fucking, I need that. It's everybody's side hustle, right?
Yeah. No, I 100%
The
agree
problem
with you.
is you got a lot of younger, better looking people doing it who've been doing it longer. And, it's a funny sub niche. I mean,
You know what? You have the same problem that I have in regards to we've been in this way too long. And I'm talking I'm talking online content creation. Because you've been in the weed game obviously way longer than me, but I'm just referring to YouTube and so on and so forth. I started blogging in 2014. That was my very first time I got into content creating, as I started writing blogs. And so we kind of made a name for ourselves before you got deleted. And I honestly believe that when we got deleted in 2018, we got blacklisted. And they wrote our name down, and essentially in the same way you get red flagged for a flight internationally, you, me, there's so many others that took that flack.
That disappeared.
And there's so many more that are gone. That's right. And I feel like because of that, it's been an uphill battle. For example, I cannot put any weed in my videos. If I put the slightest picture of bud, if I say weed, if I say seeds, cannabis, any of that, my video is age restricted. And when it's age restricted, I know it doesn't get sent out to you.
You got like more than 100. You got 100,000 plus subs, right?
Yeah, 109 I think I'm at now. But I look at channels that have less subscribers than me that can put out beautiful pictures of weed, glorious videos, up close shots of it. They can tell you the genetics, they can tell you where it came from, they can sweat and drool all over it. Those videos will get tens of thousands of views, and they are not age restricted. They're not age restricted. It is a rigged system, but I don't know how I know they're not paying anyone, so it's like, how the is this happening? You know what I mean? But I know you suffer from the same thing.
My theory is that there's so many multi-state operators in business that are making millions, who own these like chains of weed stores and weed grow ops throughout the legal states. It's people really don't realize how much weed is being grown. It's fucking lot.
It's a ton.
Well, I can get a $26 fucking quarter ounce at the store on a special day or whatever. It's they're influencing shit. It's money, bro. It's money.
It's always money.
As old school and as old fashioned cranky old man as that sounds, fucking true. All about the money.
It is true. It is true. But dude, I feel like I have this conversation so often with people, like especially like people that have been doing this for as long, that I feel like people, it's like barking up a tree. It's like nails on a chalkboard for the audience. They're like, okay, we get it now. Oh, well,
know.
you know, right? So it's like that's where it's like you just have to create. You just have to keep doing it. And I love
Well,
like
that's the thing.
I love your shit, bro. I love your content. More
Thank you.
importantly, I love your personality, and I love your reviews. Your honesty is you know, it's unexpected. People, you don't get it. You just don't get it anymore because the good guy gets thrown to the side in this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, they don't really give a fuck about what you're putting out. It's how you do it. You know, how well produced your videos. And I understand production values are very important.
It is. It
But
is.
a lot of it, you know, I'm doing this all by myself. I don't have someone helping me. I mean, my wife could give two fucks about what I do
That's fair.
in the week, you know, and I did have someone who was helping me, but he was not really. So most of the shit, and I'm not fucking inclined for electronics or computers or switchers or any of that shit. I mean, that is not my gig. I mean, I used to be a fucking lawyer way back in the day. So
And tell me, Jay, and tell me, because being a lawyer, I get that that's something that I've known about you for a while. But how? Because you've been using weed for a while. How was it to practice law and use weed at the same time? Because I'm assuming you weren't able to be so open and forthcoming about your usage then as you are now.
most of the people that I hung out with the first couple of years in New York. Well, I shouldn't say that. You know, so I moved to New York City in the autumn of 1978, and I was already started growing when I lived in Boston before I moved to New York, and I was already starting to experiment with growing. And I had this grow book by Murphy Stevens, there's a little fucking handwritten fucking sketches about what to do with your plants and shit. So I was using that, and I had these two like 4-foot they were probably T5s, and they weren't grounded. So if you touched it wrong, you'd get a fucking shock. So I was growing some real horrific homegrown, and so I'm in this winter law school. It was a winter admission at my law school. So you started classes in January, but you got your indoctrination or introduction or whatever the fuck they call it, like in late December, early January. So anyways, you meet people, and you know, you have a way of finding fellow travelers. So I had people wanting to fucking buy weed from me. I was their fucking plug
That's
in law
great.
school. It saved my ass because I'm really not that not a very good academic. I like to read a lot, but the law shit just kind of passed my brain by.
Dude, it's
So
funny.
and all my buddies, all my stoner buddies, they were all the top 5% of the class, and I was the bottom 5%. So I benefited from their knowledge and their outlines tremendously, and they benefited from my cannabis.
It was a two-way system, baby.
Exactly.
Symbiotic.
And I'm still friends with them.
That's beautiful, brother. And what's crazy to me is like I actually, because I have a Bachelor of Arts degree. I majored in poli sci. What did you major in before you went to school? Like, what did you do?
I actually have a degree in speech and communications.
Oh, good for you. Speech.
I went to Emerson College in Boston, and then I went to law school in New York to study communications law, and I ended up being a personal injury lawyer, and then an administrative law judge for the city of New York.
That's wicked.
Fun
That's
time.
dude. I'm telling you, you live in the life that I thought I was destined to take. I wanted to be a lawyer as well. I went to.
I don't necessarily recommend it as a career path. It can really burn you out.
Yeah, you know what? As I sit here now, because you know I graduated university in 11, so I probably would have been practicing and established or by 15 or so. But it's like I look at where I'm at now, and I am very thankful for the path that I took to get to where I am here. So the problem is I couldn't. You had to write the law school, the LSAT.
No. So I graduated high school and college early. I finished college in
right.
January.
Of course you didn't.
So I took the LSATs that spring, and I did fucking miserably, bro. I didn't study. I just went in cold on a Saturday morning. I was probably still fucked up from the night before, and I took the test, and I bombed it. So I got the results, and I was like, oh, fuck. So I had to take it over again. So I spent. I don't. I think you have like Kaplan college prep classes where you live. It was a chain. Stanley Kaplan. They prep you for entrance exams and all kinds of shit. So I wasn't working that summer. I was an usher at a theater, so I was only working at night when concerts would come to town. So I was in fucking Kaplan for 6 hours a day taking these practice exams, and I took the fucking exam and I fucking killed it. I got a really high score, and I got into a bunch of law school, but I didn't get. But so I would have gone to law school like a year and 18 months almost after I graduated college, but they had this mid-year admission. So I had like a year break from academics.
Ah, good for you, man. Yeah, good for you. It goes to show that a stoner can be successful, whether or not he has to know the information or he finds a way to figure it out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No, I wrote the LSAT 3 times, and I failed it every single time.
So God was telling you something.
It was telling me something, man. And like I had graduated with honors. And we were talking politics. I graduated majoring in poli-sci, like political science, and I minored in philosophy. So put that together, and dude, I love to talk politics. You know, right? So yeah, I unfortunately graduated with honors, but I couldn't figure out the law school, the LSAT. So it was a good
I'm a
sign.
horrible test taker. It took me 3 times
here.
to pass the fucking bar.
Oh, good for you.
Know?
3 times ain't bad. I heard that's kind of average.
Well, it's better than John F. Kennedy Jr. May he rest in peace. I think he took it 4 times or something.
Whatever it was, I do know it was a lot. Yeah, I do know it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a fucking lot. So I'm not a good test taker. I mean, that's really what it's all about. But I finally got it, and here we are, 40-some odd years later, shooting the shit, smoking weed. Yeah, man.
Let's go. Did it. So, Jay, what do you have going in the garden right now? Anything?
Yeah, I've been running these seeds from this guy Todd McFarlane. Todd McCormick. I'm sorry.
Todd McCormick. Authentic Genetics.
Yeah, AG.
Yeah.
I'm running his. He had a special. He had some sour diesel crossed with the purest indica. So I'm running a bunch of those, and I'm also running the sweet skunk, but not. I only think I've got about 5 sweet skunk out of the 10 beans. We had some germination issues with those. But the sour diesel, and I have another 8 in solo cups waiting to get bigger. So they haven't gone into flower yet. They're well, I'll bring one out. Hang on a second.
Please do.
Don't go nowhere.
I ain't going nowhere, brother. I ain't going nowhere. I'm always looking. I'm always good. Insert English here while I smoke some weed. I'm always up for looking at good weed. That's what I'm really looking for. What do you see?
Your earring popped out.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
This is a sour diesel.
Oh, that's the SD sour diesel, yeah.
Yeah, it's crossed with the purest indica.
Ah, she looks good. She looks really good. Thanks for the age restriction, by the way. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with you. I don't care. No, it's beautiful. I particularly enjoy the color. She looks really nice and dark on that one.
Bro, they're using fucking AI because I'm getting like not strikes, but I'm getting some sort of restriction or some shit on like fucking live streams from like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's not unusual, dude. I had to delete all my videos. Like I only have videos from.
Did you back them up somewhere?
Oh yeah, they're on my Patreon. Yeah, put them on my Patreon. I do have them. But I had to delete them all. I only have like 200 videos on YouTube now or something, 250 or something, but I had like 700 or so. Yeah, it's so frustrating, but I'm glad to see you're still growing.
Yeah, well,
grower for life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm getting up there, and I imagine probably the next dozen years for sure, depending on my living situation. But Yeah, I used to. I had a stall, one stall in my garage. I had enclosed, and it was a grow room. And I had four of those HLG, flat panels, like the 550s and the 650s, running. And so I got really sick last year with my prostate bullshit, and my mobility was really challenged. And but once I got that taken care of in the spring, I grew a lot of outdoor weed. Um, I, I I grew a ton of plants because I wanted pictures. I wanted to take a lot of pictures and document a lot of different strains because I knew I don't know. Don't ask me why, but anyways.
That's fair. It's a passion, baby. It's a passion.
So then I started getting into the perfume bullshit, and I basically took down the grow lights. There's still a grow light in there, but I converted that grow room into a second studio. So, and what I did is I've got a couple bookshelves, and when we moved here from New York, we had a fucking shitload of stuff. And most of my books were in storage, so I took all my books out and put them in this. It's like a man cave. And I had it set up to be like a barber's chair, like, the barbershop.
Yeah.
But the barbershop backdrop lost out to the bookshelves where I
Oh,
can stash all my shit.
priorities.
Well,
Priorities.
it's like my I guess you could say it's a man cave. I have my father's old fucking desk there.
Yeah.
It's a small room. It's like, I don't know, 13 by 9, some shit like that.
I
But
I,
it's
hun-
pretty cool.
I 100% get it. Having a space where you can come, relax, feel some creative,
Yeah,
something. I think it's so important, especially as a man,
definitely.
especially as a parent and adult. You got to get away. You got to separate yourself
Well,
from
I think
life.
also, what you and I do in terms of content creation, I mean, it keeps our brains busy,
Oh
you know,
gosh, it does.
you know, um,
100% it does.
particularly interacting with people on the live streams and whatnot, you know,
Yeah, and
and it
that's
really grounds you in the community.
it does. And the thing is like I feel like when you have a space like this, you're as much creative in what you're creating for a space as you are in what I'm doing. Yours has evolved over time. You find things that you love. You find things that you feel people will have a
Yep.
converse about. You feel something that just means something to you. Like the picture over your head on the TV here is a picture that someone painted for me, specifically for me. And it's like that's the kind of shit that I just love and adore, and I want to
Exactly.
look at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, feel something. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm very fucking blessed. I mean, I got basically two man caves here. So one of which it's by where I'm growing. I have a 3x3 where I'm vegging, and my 4x4 I'm vegging now, but it'll be a flowering tent. And I've just been running regs, so there'll be a number of males that'll get chopped
I know that feeling.
as well, you know.
That's fair.
But the Todd McCormick weed has been good. I grew some of his OG Kush crossed with the Pierced Indica, and it's quite tasty and has a nice fresh flavor.
I've grown
Um,
his Northern Lights, his
uh-huh.
I think it was Northern Lights number 2, Skunk number 1.
Yeah, I bred out the skunk number one.
I
I
don't
back
think
crossed
anything else made it to the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Sorry to hear.
I'm picky. Nah, I'm just picky. I've got a very particular style, so if something doesn't
Uh-huh.
if something starts to grow a little outside of what I'm comfortable with, I just get rid of it.
It's done.
Yeah, yeah, it has to
You have
fit.
no sentimentality.
Nope. 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 No time. I just don't have
Well,
the. I garden much different than many other people. First of all, I get way more credit than I deserve. People think just because I make online content that I'm an expert and that I know what I'm talking about.
you're not?
And
What's up with that?
yeah, I don't get it. And that's not couldn't be farther from the truth. I am the literal definition of someone who's trying to get through this using the least amount of effort possible. I love to garden. I do. I love to garden. I love weed more, but I love to garden. But the thing is like I love life even more. I love getting outside, spending time with my friends, spending time with my family, my wife, my son, And I don't like being bogged down in the garden. I don't like the plant that much. I'll be honest with you. Yes, I've made a career of it. Yes, I've built a community around it. But I need weed to survive, but I don't need weed to entertain me. So
Well,
that's
you've come to a
kind of
very,
how I live, and that's the lifestyle I try to perpetuate. Is like, you can grow some pretty fire fucking weed. You don't need to be a rocket scientist.
No.
You don't.
No.
You can grow pretty
No.
good weed with like almost no effort.
You grow great weed. You grow great weed. Don't
Yeah.
kid yourself.
Thank you.
You grow
Yeah.
fire product. I mean, it's not rocket science.
It isn't.
I'm schooling a young woman in Cali in growing. She's just starting. I gave her some seeds for her birthday, and I ordered like $100 worth of like build a soil gear. So I hope it works out for her. She did a run. She didn't fuck it up. She got some crystally flowers, but they look kind of sick.
Damn. JJ, brother, I thank you so much for coming on, man. If anybody
My pleasure, bro.
if anybody wanted to purchase your book, reach out to you in any way, where would they go to do such
So
thing?
people can reach me. My email is uptowngrowlab@gmail.com. The one website that's still running is uptowngrowlabseeds.com. The book, you can go on Amazon and type in Cannabis Annual 2022. It'll come up. It'll say out of stock, but then you order it and they'll get it for you, I believe. So, otherwise, yeah, man, thanks for having me. It's been a great time. I'm really fucking on.
Yeah, me too, man. It was my pleasure. JJ, as I said, I've been following you for a long time. It was it was kind of a sad moment to see the algorithm and the powers that be kind of take you down. But what I love to see is how resilient you've been. You built a website and a live streaming platform in response to being deleted. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
Uptown
bro,
Grow
we went
Labs
through-
at live dot, what was it? If I'm not mistaken.
No, uptowngrowlab@gmail.com.
Yeah, that one. I remember that. But what was the one that you created?
Oh, yeah, uptowngrowlab.live.
Yeah.
Uptown Grow
Oh,
Lab
okay.
Live.
That was
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah.
That's all it was. Okay. Yeah, I remember that one way back because I remember tuning into that.
Well, we had, at one point we had a fucking mobile app.
Yeah.
Live stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
We had
remember.
a lot of shit going on, but it was just, we couldn't make any money. So it was like, I'm funding this fucking shit and I'm not making any bread.
No, you can't. You can't. It's just doesn't work like
I
that.
got to think about myself and my family. You know what I mean?
Of course you do. Of course you do. That's preservation of
Anyway.
mankind. No.
Jeez.
I appreciate you for opening up with me, man. You're an absolute
Most def.
legend. It was an absolute
Thank
pleasure
you,
to have this
brother.
conversation with you. We'll have to do it again, and I can't wait to meet up
Yes.
at the next event.
God knows when that's going to be. But
Lord
for
knows.
sure. Maybe Vegas this coming December. I already got a fucking email about it.
I know I'll be at the MJ BizCon. I know I'll be there. That's a
There you
given. Cool, brother. JJ Kitchen from
Cheers.
Uptown Grow Labs. Thank you so much for being here. Have yourself a great night, man. Many pleasures. Blessings.
Cheers,
Peace,
brother.
homie.
Good night, everybody.
Peace. Yo, absolutely wicked, man. Yo, huge shout out to JJ for coming on. That was pretty sweet, man. That was pretty sweet. He's a great dude, man. I'm telling you, as I mentioned to him, and I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm a huge fan of his, and I love that he's still trying to do his thing. He's still putting out content. He's still growing great weed, and that's what I'm excited about. And his genetics are fire. So I'm only encouraging the best of the community to go and check him out and go and make a stink because it's going to mean something.